I'm Amanda and I am a Skills Bootcamp lead for whole training and adult education. And this is my colleague Alex Ashwell. We are a bit of a hidden gem in Hull and the surrounding area. We are actually one of the largest training providers and we do things from apprenticeships to adult learning, community learning. But today we're here to talk about a new initiative which we've been working on for around 4 years, which is the Skills Bootcamps. Alex, do you want to tell us a little bit what you know about the Skills Bootcamp?
Yeah, of course. It's part of the National Skills Fund and it's also part of the Levelling Up agenda. The Skills Bootcamps are very key to the area in terms of upskilling for the likes of engineers, fibre engineers. Later on today we'll be talking to Connexin and Ideal, which the Skills Bootcamps they've been particularly heavily involved in for the last 3 waves.
I think for me, the Skills Bootcamps are really good for our area because it's plugging all the skills gaps that are missing.
Absolutely.
So it's working with the companies like Ideal and Connexin to, upskill the local people to make sure that they can fill those jobs that is actually needed within their business. So you have to be 19 plus to do these courses, and the main thing as well is that it's 60 hours, but it's only a short, quick course of 16 weeks, so you're not going into a really long year, 2 years education. It's a quick plug to fill in a local area skills gap, and generally the courses are actually built by these companies or these businesses knowing that gap's there. Hello and welcome, and with me today to discuss some of the important topics regarding Skills Bootcamp. First is Andrew.
Hi there.
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Andrew Johnson from Ideal Heating. Hello everyone.
And then we've got Heidi.
Hi, my name's Heidi Greaves and I work with Connexin Academy.
My name's Alex Ashwell and I'm the Senior Lead for Business Development. I predominantly work on Skills Bootcamps.
So what we're going to do, we've got a few questions to go through where we'll then casually discuss and go a bit of a round robin table. So the first thing is, what really initially attracts both of your businesses to Skills Bootcamp?
I think we first got involved because we'd been working on the Kickstart programme and we found that to be a real valuable tool to bring new people into the business. I think it was just after COVID and the government were looking at supporting young people back into work. I think it was under 25, wasn't it, Alex?
Initially, yes, with the Kickstart, and then Skills Bootcamps evolved after that.
And then from that, we thought actually that was a really good tool. So Connexin Academy was created to help the main business, Connexin, which is a group of companies, IoT, Internet of Things. Obviously, we've got the broadband and fibre, and we've got health. I'm sure we've got other things that I'm not involved with, so I don't know them all. I must practice knowing them all. But the academy was generated really to increase skills within the company and also bring new skills and talent to the business. And Skills Bootcamp really allowed us to, I think we only had 2 bootcamps then, which was IT user and fibre engineers, advanced fibre engineers.
Yeah.
So the advanced fibre engineers were doing a 2-week intensive course followed by on-the-job learning with the experienced fibre engineers. So I think, I wouldn't like to guess, but it must be dozens now we've actually brought in.
Yeah.
And that's been really positive because we saw people come in from all types of sectors, not done any fibre engineering at all.
Oh, they're brand new to the fibre engineering.
Right across the age group as well, from 18 or 19, because it's you have to be 19.
Well, I was going to...
19 to whatever, I think 58-year-old we had and taken on. So
I think you needed to take on quite a lot of people in quite a short period of time as well, so it's a really good way to train.
But we've continued that training because over the last year or so, it's seen the academy really grow because we've gone from this little 3 people working in the department. We've just had an acquisition of a ROTAP-approved training business. So now we've opened up to apprenticeships. So those people who came through bootcamp will now be enrolling onto their telecom apprenticeship programmes. So upskilling them even further still. And because we're growing all the time, some of those people who have really demonstrated, the passion and increased their knowledge further have gone on to be team leaders. So they can grow and grow and grow in an emerging business like Connexin.
I think those benefits as well, you've got qualified engineers that can also flip and be qualified fibre engineers as well. So I think that's really supported the growth within Connexin.
Absolutely.
Also. Yeah.
There's a number of people currently working towards their Assessors Award. So they can naturally, as part of their performance management required for the staff they employ, they're undertaking the training to actually formalise that into assessing knowledge, behaviours and skills. So, which actually any manager would do. So actually working towards an apprenticeship, you're being assessed as you would be assessing any other member of your team.
And not everybody wants to follow the apprenticeship route, do they? You have got 19 plus that have already gone through those qualifications to be sector skilled, but then not everybody wants to go on to do an apprenticeship.
With the bootcamp, it's only been 16 weeks. It just plugs that skills gap your company needed to move forward, whereas an apprenticeship is sort of a lot longer, whereas the Skills Bootcamp is a bit shorter.
It is, yeah.
I'm guessing it's quite shortage of that skill, is it, in the telecoms industry?
Oh, yeah,
fibre?
because it's new.
Yeah.
Well, when you say it's new, the technology of fibre and the theory, because we go right back to the 1800s.
Yeah,
on the fibre,
optical
fibre.
Yeah.
His name escapes me. Some French guy. he actually created this telecom system, which were big concrete brick beacons almost, and they had optical light going, so they could get a message across in 15 minutes across about 400 miles.
Oh, wow.
So through actual, bit like Morse code, I suppose, but lighted.
I think I've seen a documentary on Sky at some point about it. Yeah. It's coming back to me now, yeah.
So they learn a little bit about that to see that actually fibre optic has been around a long time, but it's been, how does a piece of light go through a tiny, tiny piece of glass right across the country in seconds? It just baffles me. Yeah. So they learn a little bit about that, obviously the knowledge side, but then the theory, they're actually making connections. Yeah. Because obviously at some point there has to be a break in that glass. So we call it fibre to the home, because the Skills Bootcamps, they actually learn about the civil side as well.
All right, okay.
So imagine making an opening like this to put ducting all the way around the city, and from Hull to Beverley to, and we're going out and we're out, Lincolnshire, and eventually we will be hopefully across the country.
So with Connexin's growth, that has had a significant impact then, recruiting
Skills
via
Bootcamps.
the Skills Bootcamp.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've seen some real talent come through. One particular lad, Brandon, he was only 19, but he's got like a 40-year-old head on his shoulders. And I think he started with us, I don't know, maybe 18 grand. And he's a team leader now, £32,000. And it's just because he's demonstrated those skills. And we say that to them on the Skills Bootcamps. It's not always about skills, behaviour and knowledge. It's about how you apply yourself. And he has got an old head on his shoulders. And he just went like that as soon as he went into the department. And he will go on to bigger and better things, because the thing with Connexin as well, you don't stand still. You can do extra training, go on to different courses. They do invest heavily on commercial training as well. So, but it all started with the academy, with Kickstart and Skills Bootcamps, and now it's apprenticeships, and now commercial. So it will just grow and grow. And hopefully those programmes that the government offer through yourselves will support us in doing that.
It's excellent for the city as whole as well. Andrew, with Ideal, how's that had an impact?
Yeah, so we've traditionally made gas boilers to heat homes for like over 100 years now, and obviously a bit like fibre optics, over 100 years it's advanced and got more complicated, but it's roughly stayed the same, where we burn gas and get a bit of heat out of it for your radiators. And obviously we're trying to decarbonise the UK at the moment. Home heating is a massive part of that. I think it's about 13% of all emissions is within the UK, it comes from home heating. So as a business, we're massively transferring from producing gas boilers to eventually going over to other heating technologies such as heat pumps and heat interface units that don't burn gas, that are more electrically driven. So the Skills Bootcamps has helped us do two things really. One is our own staff. We still have a big cross-skilling agenda to do. So all of our sales team that have, again, traditionally sold and advised on gas boilers, we've had to put those through a training program, a skills bootcamp to get them upskilled into different system design, different technologies with heat pumps. And that's helped us in the initial stage to do, I think, around 35 to 40 of our sales staff roughly. So we put them through the program. But more so our customers. So our end customer is, generally speaking, a heating engineer. So again, they will have been installing and working on gas boilers for probably since the day they came out of the apprenticeship right up until whatever level they are now at their career. And whilst they've got progressively more complicated, that's come at like a very piecemeal phase. So they've learned as boilers have got more complex. Heat pump is a completely different technology. It's more akin to an air conditioning unit. So it's more based around sort of refrigeration engineer technology as opposed to gas engineer technology. So the heating industry as a general has got a shortage of gas heating engineers, and then if you overlay that, there's not enough heating engineers to be cross-skilled into heat pump technology. Across the industry, we've got a real skills gap. So we started looking at, as Ideal Heating, how do we help our installers transition from what they've traditionally done to install and learn the new technology? And we'd to be honest, played around with that at the edges a little bit 2 to 3 years ago, and in sort of bringing small numbers through in training. And what the Skills Bootcamp allowed us to do was kind of sit down in paper and think, how can we do this more at scale and more planned? So we designed 2 programs that meet slightly different means. Glad to say those programs kind of got approved as hitting the requirements. And now we've done those, I think we're just well into starting our second phase now of learners. And what it mostly allows for us is the ends heating engineers, helps them come in and get that upskill or cross skill, whichever way you want to look at it, and helps them diversify from being a traditional gas heating engineer across to being an electric heat pump engineer. The vast amount of our customers or heating engineers are sole traders or run small family businesses. So to take the time out to learn is one thing, because they're generally losing earning whilst they're not working. So to be able to offer them the financial backing from the boot camps to pay for the training is a big win for them. And to be honest, it's a big win for us as a business, because otherwise we was having to supplement that cost or stand the cost as a business. So being able to diversify that investment elsewhere to our like production technology or our research and development facilities is just helping us really shift a 100-year-old traditional business in Hull across to something that's going to look very different in 10 years' time.
And you actually broke down the course to 2 separate weeks with a gap in the middle as well to help with them, with the working.
We did, and again, it's back to, well, not just sole traders, but businesses in general. We run a 2-week programme of roughly between, I think 70, 82 hours roughly it is between the 2 programmes. So we generally bring them in for week 1, class that as like module 1 if you like. We then leave them anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks to have a break that helps them plan the work, helps them plan time out of work. But we also find it's been really useful as well that they can consolidate the learning in that gap. So when they come back, they generally come back with a list of questions or a list of reflections. And I think if we'd have tried to cram that all into 2 weeks back to back, they don't get that reflection time. And also it's helped, as I say, just give them a bit of flexibility around the lives and the work, etc.
Sorry, Amanda, I was just going to ask a question because I'm really interested. So can somebody not have any experience in gas engineering and install heat pumps now?
No, they need to have heating industry experience. So generally our kind of learner profile will be a plumbing and heating engineer practicing, or a practicing gas or oil engineer. So where their market will eventually begin to dry up in terms of there won't be as many gas boilers or oil boilers sold, they will have to diversify to heat pumps as an example. So our training program is just helping them learn that well in advance. You spoke about money and potential to earn. At the moment, there's a real skills gap with heat pump engineers, so that the earning profile is generally very high compared to a gas engineer. It's not necessarily what everybody comes to us for, but it does open up their earning potential to potentially move businesses, helps their businesses earn more money by offering a more diverse set of installation options. Or if they're self-employed, they can obviously offer that themselves.
Because we've seen some people start doing air conditioning units.
Yeah.
Your course also, some people have then gone on to then do air conditioning units and upskill that way, haven't they?
Yeah, one of the courses that we offer, it gives them like it's an F-gas qualification, which is like a regulated substance that they've got to be qualified in to handle. So whilst we've steered it towards heat pumps, of which you need that qualification for some of that work, some of them off their own back have decided to like fit smaller domestic type air conditioning units in conservatories or kitchens, etc. So again, it's just given them another angle where they've been a gas boiler business and now becoming a heating cooling business. So as our industry massively diversifies over the next 10, 15 years over what technologies, it's one of the boxes ticked, if you like, to help them move with that transition.
So again, you're helping independent one person and companies to larger companies, which is absolutely it's a perfect situation to be in for that growth factor, that real impact. And I think that's the beauty of Skills Bootcamps, is that impact it has on employability,
especially on emerging industries like fibre and environment issues are going to be huge, aren't they?
It's a quick impact as well. It's quite quick if you need it. If the area needs it, that's a local need.
And it's a slow transition, isn't it? The government wants everybody to be driving electric cars. Yeah. I mean, I took an electric car out for 2 weekends. I've put it back in the garage and said, no, thank you very much. Because the infrastructure isn't there. It took me 9 hours to get back from Cumbria just to find the infrastructure isn't there. And it's like fibre. We've got 20,000 customers, 60,000 customers to work on. There's no way we can install 60,000 homes because the skills aren't there. And you'll have the same with heat source.
Yeah, it's real catch-22 really, because the market demand is not quite there yet for heat pumps. So next year, any new build house will have to have a heat pump, or they're not allowed to have boilers fitted anymore. So most likely choice will be a heat pump.
And are they becoming more efficient?
They're very efficient. There's one of those technologies that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're brilliant if they work and they work well. They're up to 3-4 times more efficient than boilers. Unfortunately, a bit like double glazing and other things like that in the past, insulation, they've been missold quite badly.
I can give you an example of that. So my house I bought 17 years ago had a ground source heating system. Yeah. So I had to pay 20 grand to have it installed. It wasn't installed correctly. Yeah. So I paid another 18 grand to change it, and it was lovely. And then regretfully, I moved, so I just got it all working right. I mean, it was very cheap ground source, and I've moved into a house and I had heat source put in. Yeah. Again, I don't think it's been installed right. Yeah. You know, I've got.
It's a good point you raise, because we give the technical skills predominantly on the training program, but kind of consumer, I don't know, belief, advocacy, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the homeowner asking the installers about the technology. We don't want to lie to anybody. There is limitations with it, so we try to fit that into the training as well, that you need to be really honest around the efficiency benefits. A leaky house is a leaky house, whether it's a heat pump or a boiler. It doesn't really matter. You're still losing that heat. But a boiler will be firing a lot of gas into that property to keep it warm, and that's the difference where a heat pump, if you start doing that, your electricity bills go up. So it is a real skills change for gas engineers, because they're having conversations that they've not been used to having. And to be honest, we're learning that as we go on, as well as, say, traditional gas boiler business. We're now having to almost help people change the way they look at their business, and also helping customers look at the way they interact with their heating systems. You don't really turn them on and off anymore. You
leave them on constantly,
long and low, etc. Which, I know my mum, if I fitted her a heat pump, she'd still be turning that switch off every day at 6 o'clock at night.
Mine's off.
Me too.
So in the summer, can you turn it off?
You can if you wish to, but there's no need to. It's
I just turn it down.
Yeah, the technology and the product should look after it basically to stop you doing that.
I need to speak to you because I might look at changing mine.
I feel a sale coming on.
But you're training people to change the whole way they've been trained originally, like what their core business is. You're actually making them change and talk in a different way. So someone who's been doing that for 20, 30 years, that must be a struggle for them to switch.
It is, and as I say, we try to be really honest and open about it. And for everybody that comes on our training, they won't start doing this immediately tomorrow, because like I say, the market needs to start to catch up, but they will have to do it in time because legislation's driving that. And it is the right thing, but a bit like electric cars, it brings with it a host of big challenges, which is bigger than us as a business and bigger than us as a heating industry. It's the whole national challenge, isn't it? But
that's what's so good about Skills Bootcamp, isn't it? Because if you've got skills, lack of skills in certain areas, actually it's a good way of really focusing on that subject.
Helps us eat the elephant, doesn't it? You pick off the little bits and collectively together with the schemes, it really helps.
Because if you think we've got probably, I don't know, maybe had 30 people come through the Academy on Advanced Fibre, probably more because I'm not that close to the numbers as Leslie is.
I'd say a lot more.
But we've really seen a massive increase in that area.
And you guys have been really with Skills Bootcamps from the very beginning.
We were the guinea pigs, Amber.
We
were the guinea pigs. We all were the guinea pigs.
We've been involved. We're currently in wave 4. So you've been from the start, and if you look back, that's coming up 4 years now. Well, it will be next year, and to be ahead of the game in terms of heat pumps, fibre, advanced fibre, I think for a city of Hull, it's great to be ahead of that game. Yeah. And great to be part of that journey.
And you know what's so good as well is because we've seen people progress within the fibre engineering department, and they're moving up in leadership, team leaders.
Of course.
But they've not got those skills. Yeah. So only last week I was on the phone to Alex saying, can we have a leadership and management programme for bootcamp? And we work, since the acquisition, we are the UK's provider for LPI, which is the Leadership Pipeline Institute, which is a global recognised leadership programme. Only 6 days training, but it's really good, the theories. So I've gone knocking on the door and saying, Alex, can we have a leadership and management programme on Skills Bootcamps? Because if we make those leaders, then we can, that flow of people coming through the academy naturally goes through. And as I say, we've got 60,000 homes to...
Gives you a really strong pathway as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's that evolving as well, because it's part of the stipulations for Skills Bootcamp is that impact again. And you spoke earlier about, staff are qualified engineers now; they're becoming qualified fibre engineers, and then they're progressing on to do their Assessors Award, Leadership and Management. It's those, stepping stones. For you, Andrew, you've had great success in terms of, people having that extension of business opportunities and growth in individual businesses.
We're continuing to obviously grow it and build it further, but what's been great for us as a Hull-based manufacturer traditionally, although a lot of our learners do come from the region, we're also attracting them from big blue chip companies, if you like, from around England now. So we've had, sole traders from the local area, but also some of the big energy companies have chosen our bootcamp programmes, and all of that is enabling them to get the certificates and the qualifications that they need. Without boring you with the detail, they then need that to apply for a scheme of the government's that allows homeowners to get funding to buy the heat pump in the first place. So it's setting businesses off in a real pathway to help them tap into that different business. And
it's a whole company, isn't it, Ideal?
It is, yeah.
So, and it's really, Ideal's, you can go abroad and see an Ideal sink.
You can.
It's a real
that was some
global...
of our history, unfortunately. Not anymore the sink part of the business, but historically
evolved.
It was there,
It's evolved, and that's how training and development can help, because, things change, don't they, and they evolve, and you've gone down that path now, and being supported by the Skills Bootcamp like we have with fibre is...
We're a bit like broadband with boilers. Nobody thinks about it until they break.
Reliable service.
Yeah, we've got our boilers. We believe in 1 in 4 every house in the UK is one of our boilers. So we've got we've tapped into more people's lives than they realise, which hope, like say, with transitioning from that to something different, we've got a real challenge to make that as successful as it can be.
And of course, Skills Bootcamps, Amanda, it's not just fibre, advanced fibre, leadership and management, heat pumps. There's so many different skills bootcamps.
We've got UV charging, we've got HVAC driving, we've got quite a vast range of other things. Again, it's mainly around new technologies, new energies, anything that can really plug into a local area's need to fill a skills gap. I was just also thinking as well, regards to education, when people, any person wants their education, they also think that it's a year course, a 2-year course, and that can kind of sort of make you feel a bit apprehensive about doing the course. Whereas the course is going to be in 16 weeks, 60 hours, that kind of like plugs a gap, but also people are still at work, so they're not using too much of the time as well. So it really does fill that gap, I think, for people who want to, go into management, but they don't want to do a longer course, that kind of thing. It plugs that gap for your business very well.
I love the point as well that they are generally industry or employer-led. So your exact example there, you've got a need, you've asked for that need to be addressed. That's where I think they're real tangible in terms of the effort versus results that you get.
It's not the standard, here's your course list, that's all you can do. Whereas actually, these are company built, what your area needs. And
it's very much linked to it.
I think it was a real good call, really, from government to look at shorter bespoke programmes.
I agree.
Because often we're pushed through, we're like circles, it's been pushed through a square, haven't we?
Go for it.
There's your qualification,
And generally those ones aren't necessarily sector built, company built, they're not ticking the boxes that you need.
Or they sit under funded qualifications. The telecoms industry, for example, when you go onto adult education budget funding, it's just not there, they're not supported. You think, why is that when we've got a government initiative by 2025 to have broadband right across the country?
This is very much employer-led.
Yeah. The energy, the regeneration,
business.
it's not really in your sort of your apprenticeships or anything like that. They're not there yet, sort of thing.
Exactly. So, that department of the government that are working on it are really listening to industry, listening to governments, local governments, and saying, what skill gaps do we have in these cities? Then get on with it through Skills Bootcamp. It's real positive.
It's a real good point, actually, because traditionally in your vocational type roles, telecom engineers, heating engineers, you kind of did your apprenticeship and then generally you're done then, aren't you? There's nothing else to go, and these do help you change your role as the technologies, etc. change.
Retrain.
Yeah, we have people who have gone from service delivery, for example. They work on the technical side of fibre. So it's about connecting the router to the home. And they do whatever they do, they're magic. I don't know what they do. They type something into and it connects them. And they think, actually, this is really exciting. I think I'd like that. So they go from an office environment to outside, going up poles and connecting, the connection, the splice. It's basically melting 2 pieces of glass together and making that connection from the pole to the home.
But this thing gives them the chance to change. They wouldn't have been able to do that before.
Absolutely. And we've had people from service delivery who have gone on the Skills Bootcamp to see if they'd like it. And then they've gone on to it and they're now engineers. So you've gone from answering phones to connect people with the routers to actually installing them, which is, that would never happen if it wasn't for Skills Bootcamps. It's really, really positive.
So, we've definitely said that Skills Bootcamps works for both of your companies, and we're saying it's works massively for Hull and our surrounding area, the local area.
For Hull, the success rate for the Skills Bootcamp for the previous wave, we're currently 2nd nationally.
Oh, wow. Didn't realise that.
Yes. An email will be going out shortly. Yes, so we're 2nd nationally in terms of success. And when we talk about success, it's that impact. So it's not that the candidate or the learner has successfully completed the programme. The impact has been a success. So, and we're currently 2nd nationally, which is outstanding, isn't it? It's that impact that Skills Bootcamp has had on that individual's life and that in terms of...
And for the businesses.
For the businesses also, but in terms of gaining a job, gaining promotion, gaining additional responsibilities, expanding the business. So they're real key factors. It's not just on completion. So you've got, again, like you said, the business growth.
Yeah. I mean, the investors at Connexin, they're from all around the world. And it's like, why are you in Hull? Because where's Hull?
Hull's a great place.
It's putting us on the map a bit more.
And as you know, one of our ambassadors is Luke Campbell, the boxer. And he promotes the company a lot. And he's a real Hully, so he shouts about Connexin. He's real proud that he supports a local company rather than a national. Although we're a national company, we are born and bred, and our roots are firmly.
But so much is happening in Hull. Have you seen the changes and the businesses and the different business opportunities, the renewables that are coming into Hull?
Well, when you're coming into Hull now and there's roadworks, you start saying, it's happening.
It's been happening a while.
It has been happening a while.
But it's exciting stuff, isn't it? And it's cutting edge stuff.
It's really good for Hull because Hull's very sort of been like old industrial industry. So now this is all sort of like new technology, new industry, all coming in, especially where your birth are situated within your sort of your buildings and everything like that. It's all around that new sort of.
You kind of hope, without getting too sentimental about it, it's kind of the green revolution, isn't it? It's gone from all the old dirty kind of industries through to renewables.
I mean, the centre that Ideal have is, I've visited it. It's cutting edge,
I'd love
isn't it?
to see it.
It's cutting edge.
I'm going to buy a new heat pump because it sounds. If you're actually installing 1 in 4, did you say that?
Well, the moment 1 in 4 boilers in homes. Yeah, we hope to hit that target eventually with our market share. But in all seriousness, the Skills Bootcamps has helped give us the confidence to then invest in centres like that because we can forecast the numbers that are coming through. The funding obviously helps us invest into centres like that. So it's helped give facilities for learners as well, that they're not going to an old warehouse in a breeze block room somewhere. They've got top class country leading facilities.
It's cutting edge, isn't it?
So how many people have you trained in that sector?
Now you're testing me on my numbers. So on boot camps,
I got mine wrong. So
I think I'm correct on saying we've done, is it around 150 in wave 3 over the 2 programmes roughly?
Fantastic.
And we've got in wave 4, we forecast in our first phases to do 100 in each of the programmes, so 200 each. And hopefully if that goes well, we've got an extra 50 in each programme, so that'll be an additional 300 within wave 4.
Brilliant.
And then, see what wave 5 brings for us. But the demand's strong there from, like I say, from the local areas and national.
So can somebody come to you that have no knowledge of heating?
No, I say they've got to be a practising heating engineer.
What if they were electrical? Because a lot of heat pumps are just electric, aren't they? I don't think I have gas with mine.
They are only electric from the power source, but they connect onto a wet central heating system, which traditionally comes from a plumber or a heating engineer. I think going forward, we will see a lot more diversification from electrical to plumbers and crossovers. But the way the qualifications are in our scheme work at the moment, there's obviously all the usual prerequisites of what they need.
So someone who came and fitted your central heating now is one of those people wanting to then upskill. That's the same.
Yeah.
We've got some quick fire questions, haven't we?
They're not numbers related, are they?
No, numbers related, because I'm dismal on them.
We've obviously been talking about Skills Bootcamp and what it's done for us as a training providers and businesses, but we kind of wanted to talk a bit more casually about us as people so that, it's more relatable in regards to, where you saw yourself and where you see yourself and things like that. So in a business, what values are more important to yourselves?
Shall I go first, Andrew? Connexin are very passionate about corporate and social responsibility. So we work heavily with stakeholders that are working with people that have more challenges to getting into work. So we focus on a proportion of our learners coming from people who might have challenges, whether it's autism. We've had people who have sight impairments, hearing impairments, physical disabilities, mental disabilities, and we've, there's there's no one that can't come through on the programme. We're really passionate about building people, and certainly from, I can think of a number of people that have come on the programme where they've been left behind. You know, they've been like never had a job and they're 28 and they just need a little bit more time. So Connexin have been, especially Leslie, as you know Leslie, she's very passionate about helping people who are maybe underrepresented in society.
Yeah.
And she's got a heart the size of a moon, you know. She will go out to people and meet them. She'll really hold their hand through the process.
Yeah.
Because we've had people who can barely look at you when they come in the door. And, you know, they've joined the business. And actually now they're engaging in people, they're proactive, they're actually involved in training. And you see them just bloom. And that takes a lot of time. And not a lot of companies will do that. But Connexin, I know it's cliche and people always say, ooh, like working for here, it's like a family. But it really is. It really is.
But to see that growth in a person must be really rewarding.
It's emotional. You know, we got a letter off Neil from one of the, I think, Remploy. So he works with people who have got challenges to go into work. And he wrote this lovely letter. It brought tears to my eyes. I was like bawling in my office thinking that's really kind to take time out and write that letter. I think I did send it to you guys.
You did. You did.
Just to say, look, this is real.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing as a it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. But it's like we really care about people. And I know for Cannes sent that letter to the board. So that our investors are Australian. So there's people from Australia on the board. And they were like, we need to talk about Skills Bootcamps and Kickstart and these programs that were supporting people who maybe have got more challenges. So it's mentioned all the time in board. You know, it's like, well, what we're doing in the community. So, and I think that will continue to grow as we keep sponsoring things. I mean, we've just had a refurbishment of the offices at Hessel, which the Academy has taken ownership of now. We've taken it from the engineers and it's purely the Academy. And we've managed to put a whole department for a community learning hub. So one of my objectives for next year, end of this year, next year, is to work with community and help support people who need that extra support to get to where they want to be. And we'll probably do a lot of that training through Skills Bootcamps. So whether it's IT training and employability skills embedded within that, just to give people that confidence. And
But then they would then filter into employment within your company.
we'll take them on, you know, and because of that support they get, we are really a big family. We have a community hub called Community Connexin Community, and there's over 200 people on that. And anything this weekend popped up. Does anybody have a wallpaper stripper? It's like because I only need to use it once, and then it'll go in a cupboard.
Because in your garage for you, and so
Exactly. So there was like dozens of people saying, "Yeah, I've got one. I've got one. I've got one." And it, you know, they're really, really supportive, and anything from a decorator's stripping machine to does anybody want to participate in a club they've set up? They're just, but football teams and anything you can think of. It's a real community, not only internally, but you know, through Hull as well.
Andrew, what's important for you?
I think the two that stand out for me, I'm relatively new to Ideal, so I've worked there just over three years now, and one is we take ourselves seriously, but we like to have fun at work, and I see that really differently at Ideal compared to my past employer, which was a large sort of national utilities company, in that there's very little hierarchy in the business, and I think that gives people a lot more natural confidence. You can get things done a lot quicker, it's a lot easier, you don't have to jump through lots of different governance boards, etc. But equally, it's done with professionalism, but it just feels much more satisfying to work there. And I think linked with that, the other one is like we continually strive ourselves, like a lot of our types of businesses is to innovate, and now is never more important than that. And we really see success of that, but equally challenges at the moment as well. Because like I say, we've got a lot of people in roles that have done a very similar discipline for a number of years, and now we're asking them to do something different. So trying to support people to go through that change curve, but also asking them to show up with the behaviours to do that as well is really important at the minute. Yeah.
So what career advice would you have actually given to your younger self? To Alex as well, actually.
Oh, okay. What career advice? It's a really difficult question, this one. I would say just get out there more, have the confidence and belief, because I feel as if my confidence has come later on in life. Yep. And I would look back at my younger self and say, it's going to be okay. Don't be afraid to put ideas out there, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's not critical. Yeah. So I would give myself more confidence, I would say, in allowing to explore more, instead of always playing it sometimes a little bit too safe.
I think with me, a lot of people come out of school and they're panicking to get the GCSEs, they're panicking to get the A levels.
Yeah.
And what I currently do now is not anything that I trained in my 20s.
That's a good point. That is a really good point.
The GCSEs, the A levels I got is not anything to do with this job that I've got now. Yeah. So I think with the Skills Bootcamp, what we're saying, you can upskill, you can rechange. That is so true, because I don't do the same job at all. And, if you need to take a different job or you need to do a different education, then you can do, because I'm only comfortable now in this role, and it's took me a long time to get here. So you don't have to rush at 16 to say, this is the job I'm doing.
Yeah. And I think it's about having the confidence to say it's okay to diversify and change your mind and go on to different things.
And believe in yourself.
Yeah.
I think, if you want to do something, believe in yourself and strive to achieve it. I mean, I look at, just talking about Fakan, having known him for quite a few years now, and Alex, when I look at them, Fakan does believe he's the next Steve Jobs, He does.
Oh, wow.
He's got that confidence. And
that's wonderful.
Nothing is not achievable.
It's that belief there, isn't it?
And he spreads that to all of us. I ran my own business for 27 years, and I was very process-driven and I was very structured, whereas Connexin, a bit like what you said, the more relaxed, a bit more funky in their approach to dealing with things, even down to, what we wear. It's far more relaxed than I was in my business. And I've learned that even, when I joined them, joined them in 55 years old, and I've learned so much from them, which has been good, because, work doesn't need to be rigid and strict and formal. Actually, working in a more relaxed environment can really help you grow as a person.
It can help people flourish, because and it's just that it's about liking yourself, isn't it? And allowing people to see that true form, isn't it?
I think I've always at work been a work person, and then I've got my social person. And people at work, traditionally I've been very formal, and I've kind of let myself go a little bit and be more myself at work. And I think that shocked me, because I'm not normally like that. But it's been drawn into the Connexin way of working, and so I'd say that about myself, don't be so bloody rigid and highly strung.
I feel like you're mirroring me right now.
I'd say just relax, enjoy it.
I suppose like thoughts and thinking of new ideas and stuff like that in your business, it's easier and it's more relaxed because there's not as many barriers.
Exactly.
Whereas when you're rigid, or you can't do it that way, because there's a process there for that. You're not allowed to do that.
Exactly. There's nothing you can't say in a meeting that I'd be laughed at. Like sometimes I think, even working for myself, when I was sitting in front of, governors at the college, I'd be a little bit formal, and whereas with Connexin, anything goes and nothing's laughed at. We can do this. Fakan comes out with some classics, what he thinks he can achieve. like, we can be bigger than Virgin. And I honestly believe he can be. Yeah. Because he has got
He's just that way.
belief, you know, and he's, you go way out of him, everybody, whoever meets him, you know, and you're in awe of him. And I know he gets involved in the city himself in a lot of entrepreneurial talks and groups, and I've learned a lot from him.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
I have a long list what I tell myself. I think when I reflect back when I was younger, like there's so much that you just don't know because you obviously grow up with your family doing the sort of roles that they do and you're from that environment. So I think if I had my time again, I'd have probably looked a little bit further and wider. And a lot of the reason I didn't do that was similar to you. I was like worried about finishing my apprenticeship by the time I was 19 and getting that steady job. And if there's one thing I've learned throughout my job, I've never really done a job longer than 3 years. I've always moved on to a different job, and that's normally been on a progression route. And I think that's what I would probably say to myself. It's not necessarily the job you're doing here and now, it's where you want to be the next job after that or the next job after that. To help yourself find opportunities and experience. And doesn't necessarily need to be for a bigger wage or a promotion. It's just building that, I guess, variety, isn't it? While you work out ultimately what it is you want to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the next one again is very similar, but it's more about what advice would you give someone new coming into your industry? So if someone's starting out, they're coming to Connexin, what advice would you give them as they walk through the door?
You're starting at this, but you could be here in whatever time, because that's up to you. And I do believe that if people joining our business, if they show that they're committed, they're hardworking, they're learning, they're developing, they can quickly progress.
Apply discernible effort and make your own luck, basically. It's if you show up, do well, show you're keen, it's sky's the limit to what people can achieve, regardless of education.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll leave it there today now. Thank you very much for coming, really appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, thank you.
No worries, thank you.